Hi, this is Bob Roberts, and I'm the dead man talking. I have stage 4 cancer and very likely only a few months to live. I have invited 4 of my best friends from college days to talk about cancer, suffering, death, hope, and God. I can't wait for you to meet Will Gawkin, Jason Jans, Ellis Murphy, and Josh Darnell. My desire is to tackle big questions and challenges that my probable near-term demise raises, and to always season the sobering with humanity and humor. Don't expect nice and tidy solutions with a bow on top. It's going to get messy.
Welcome to episode 4 in the Dead Man Talking podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Bob's health update, and you'll see our reaction to his new results. And we are joined by a special guest. Enjoy.
Well, here we all are. We didn't plan on doing an episode here tonight, but Bob had his test today and wanted to update the whole team. And also, the princess has arrived.
This is my daughter, Cadence Grace.
Hey,
She's
Cadence.
awesome. And I had to go pick her up at the airport. She flew all the way to see me by herself. And she's only 13 years old.
You know, Bob didn't do that until he was 28. Did you know that, Cadence?
Bob didn't try.
I still needed an air marshal companion. Anyway, she made it here. I had to go pick her up at her gate, and then she wanted Chick-fil-A. So we actually stopped twice at 2 different Chick-fil-A's. One, we couldn't find parking. One was part of a college that they wouldn't allow us on the campus. And then finally we found the third one. Show them so we found. So this podcast is not sponsored by Chick-fil-A, but it is powered by it.
Chick-fil-A would just love to sponsor a podcast about a guy dying of cancer from probably eating processed chicken.
Hey, man, if I'm going to die, I want it with some Polynesian sauce in my mouth. I love Polynesian sauce. If I'm fixing to go, just give me some Polynesian sauce. I'm ready to go.
Sriracha sauce went to his liver. That's the problem. Cadence, how are you?
Good, I guess.
How was your flight?
Yeah. It was interesting.
What was it like to see your dad getting off that plane?
He hit his head.
Did you miss him the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, a lot.
What do you miss about him?
I'm just gonna
Remember what I told you, honey.
there you go.
Give him a little hug.
Remember that thing we worked on with ChatGPT?
What do you like the most about your dad, Cadence?
Probably how he jokes around and does crazy stuff, you know?
Kind of a goober.
Yeah.
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 And what do you least like?
Example.
Go ahead, yeah.
Oh,
I have an example if you'll let me.
Go for it.
we have an editor, correct, Jay?
Well, sometimes when he's exiting stores, he pretends to hit his head on the top of the door, and then he sees if like random strangers can react to it.
What do you least like about your dad?
I actually don't know. Yeah, that part. Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, well, we're
So
thrilled
anyway,
to have you on today, Cadence.
She was scheduled to come here, and then they actually punted the verdict day of the clinic when they tell me if I can continue treatment or have to go home. And today was actually a very hopeful day. The main cancer marker that is related to the cancer in my liver dropped 2 whole points in 5 weeks. And I was told by the main doctor, he says, really, the only way that happens is if the treatment is being efficacious. So that doesn't mean it's gone. That doesn't mean it's necessarily even shrunk. What it does mean is it's proving potent against my specific type of cancer in my liver, and it's actually having a pushing back type of an impact. So that was so highly encouraging, because really the last 3 months of medical updates have just been one gut punch after another. The next one worse than the last. So I really just want to give glory to God. Thankful for the good report. And then also on the same day, my daughter comes in, so she doesn't see me trying to necessarily cover up or punt into next week, but just like, hey, this is what they told me. And we get to have a really great 3 days together. So just super duper pumped about that. And I just want to thank God. Yeah.
Well, Bob, when I got the news, I like I'm excited, but at the same time, that whole time we're talking last Thursday, it's like you're talking about how your brain is heavenward. And so it's like I kind of felt vexed because I kind of want to know where you were at. Like I want to know what you were feeling. And I just gotta believe that it's like a both and. Like because I think in my own life there are things, I'm counting the clock. I've got 9,999 days if I make it to 79. And and I'm like, part of me is like, I'd rather just cruise. But then I think of all the responsibilities and the opportunities here, and I want to stay. And so I'm just, where are you at, man?
Yeah. Great question. I mean, as you know, as I share with you, there's been moments here of just really rapture divine, as some of the old hymn writers would have said, where I feel so connected to Jesus in a way that I've never experienced before. And the joy of those moments is so profound. And I do really believe it is a foretaste of glory divine. It is a foretaste, a little taste of heaven on earth. And I long for more of that. And so there is a sense in which, when I have truly believed that my time was going to be short here, that I was real good with that. I was for that. Primarily my daughter here, which I think this is appropriate that she's here. Like, that would probably be my number one reason for staying. And
Right.
I've done things, and I've just opened my whole medical life like a book to her, so she can see everything that I'm doing in an effort to stay with her longer. So I get back to that illustration of the needle. If you had a t-shirt with a needle on one side, it says to stay and the other side to depart, where's your needle pointing, Christian?
Huh.
And I would say, well, my needle's not 100% to depart, and my needle's not 100% to stay either. And honestly, today was just so refreshing, because it was the first time in 3 months that I haven't gotten medical news that just knocks me out. It was actually hopeful, and it was retethering me to the idea that, man, maybe God will answer this prayer, the King Hezekiah-ish prayer, to stay another 5 years.
When you put on our text thread and you were like wrestling through that a little bit, I loved what Ellis said. What did you say, Ellis?
I can't quite remember what I said. I think it was along the lines of don't go so dark, brother. It's okay. You are gonna die. So you'll get there eventually. The time
Yeah, you
frame's
said
a
the
little
timing's
foggy.
foggy. Yeah, the timing's foggy, but it's going to happen. And I actually, that little what you said, Ellis, today, I was just like, right. And that's the power of what I think this walking with Bob through this is kind of what it's doing to my own heart. It's like the question is not if, it's when. And so living in a manner that you're answering both ends of this needle that Bob was talking about.
When you told us this today, I was surprised because to the point that you keep making, all we've gotten is not great reports, and so to get that one was just a great surprise. I was actually a little bit stunned by it, and excited by it, except for the part that it's a more expensive plane ticket for me to Phoenix than it is to Knoxville, but but I guess I'm coming to see you in Phoenix now.
Come on. I want that. Go climb a mountain.
Yeah.
Bob, I had been thinking earlier this morning and begging God over and over again that there would be something in there that would make this easier for Sarah and Cadence. That's what I was like, dear Lord, please.
Mm.
And then he answered that. And my initial reaction was almost tears of thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you. And then I got scared. The reason why I got scared was as an athlete, as a firefighter, and as a soldier, some of the worst things has happened to me after an elated victory. I would either get sloppy or my motivation would go down, and we would stop thinking about the details, and then something bad would happen. So when you told me, though, that it fired you up to make you want to keep doing the pain, and that there's something in this podcast we don't mention that much, and that is everything you're going through hurts. The chemo hurts.
Yeah.
You know, we make jokes about it, but you still got to do it.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I wish I could respond with maturity and say that I was just elated all day, but it kind of triggered me that, you know, the next 2 or 3 weeks, you know, we can't let up on everything we're doing. So, and I don't have a whole lot of, I've got some issues sometimes with doctors and medical practitioners that, you know, 1 minute they supposed to know everything, and then my friend dies or something. So maybe that's just me being a little gun shy. So
I think it's a really great reminder that our hope is ultimately in the Lord too, right? I mean,
right.
This report is very encouraging, but it really is, you know, the difference between a hook for a human hat or a hook for a divine hat. And this is a human hat, right? I mean, this is human wisdom, human resources. We're just trusting that hook. And the last few months of my life, it's been a removal of human hats and human hooks of hope.
Yeah.
Those little hopey hats have disappeared. And I've been hanging a lot more eternal ones, invisible ones, right? Divine.
I think psychologically, I've been preparing myself for the worst because that's what you've been telling us, Bob, is first of all, when you got the cancer a little over a year ago, you told all of us, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to take me out. So we're like, oh, okay. And, you know, Sarah wasn't on that bus and she was right. And, you know, then when the round 2 came around and the scans came out and you were like, it's really bad. And then you were like kind of hushed, like, no, it's really, really bad. Like it's bad, 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 bad. You know, and so then somebody, I think it was you or somebody told me like it just kind of grows, and then all of a sudden when it turns, you got 14 days. Like it's a boom and you're gone kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, this kind of ultimate nature of the news, like I was kind of prepared for that piece of it because we know this thing in Phoenix is a little bit of a Hail Mary pass. So at noon, the text came through on the thread that said, "Good news, boys." And then you put some link in there, but I was in a meeting, so I couldn't click on nothing. But it was just enough to know, like, oh, we've got a window, and I'm not as caring as Will because I didn't care if you want to go or not. I don't care if you want to go to heaven at all. I want you here. Period. End of story. Like I don't give a flip what you want. So I want you here for the next 5 years, even if you hate God over it. I want you here. So I didn't have any empathy for you wanting to go to heaven. I was like, nope. We just did a podcast on regret. So it's like, oh, we can now do what we said we wish we would have done more of. So
Right. Amen. Okay.
very selfish.
Good point.
Very selfish of me, but I didn't really think about your feelings at the moment. I'm like pumped,
That's pretty powerful.
So
That's
Amen,
hopeful.
Jason.
I'm where we
Man,
go.
That's hopeful.
That's great.
That's honesty.
Yeah, I mean, there's a weird sort of guilt because it's like, and they all told me that too, Jay. And I mean, I'm looking at the the contrast MRI and then the biopsy report, but then especially the PET scan. And I actually forwarded you the synopses of that PET scan, and it's just like really ugly. I listened to what the doctors said in my realm, but then you go searching. I mean, we all do, right? You have Google, but now we have Chat GPT and Grok, and you can actually take a photo of that PET scan and feed it to the AI.
So
And
Cadence,
that doesn't help your disposition.
hey, Cadence, when you heard the news that Dad's news was good, how did that affect you, or what'd you think?
I was sad that he has to stay in Arizona because I can't see him as much. But I was also happy he's working because that means he's living longer.
Yes, right.
Awesome, buddy.
Yeah, it's great.
I love
We flew you here to Arizona because I couldn't stand being away from you very long. Love this kid.
How long do you get to hang out with Dad there, Cadence? How long are you
Just
down
a
there?
few days. Few
Just-
days over here.
Bob, real quick on the details. What is you said 2 points. I don't really have context. What's the range?
Wasn't it 14?
Yeah.
Wasn't it the number 14?
No, so this is actually a more precise number that he gave me, and I'm going to not sound very wise because I'm not actually a PhD. And they had a thick report, and he basically said, "Look, there's 6 different medical professionals, 4 oncologists and doctors. This is really the only thing that I want to talk about that really matters because all the other stuff is either in range or not worrisome." And so when I checked in, this particular marker that was related directly to my liver was like about at an 8.5, and now it's around a 6.3. So he said, and I looked him in the eye and I said, "Look, I want you to look at me as if you were talking to your own son and tell me that, that these numbers mean that I should continue or not." And he says, "Bob, this is what I would tell my own child, that yes, this is good news. It means the treatment is being effective against the cancer in your liver. And I would tell my own son to do 5 more weeks of it." And I felt the authenticity and his voice, and so I'm rolling the dice. No, that sounds terrible. I'm not rolling the dice. I'm trusting the Lord, and I'm really resting.
But
Yeah.
how did you feel in that moment right there?
Wow, that's a really good question. Because I've been so connected to the eternal invisible. Like I really feel like in a metaphorical sense, my feet have left Earth. Like I've been kind of sucked up into the heavenlies a little bit. And that hope, that heavenly hope, was like a hand reaching out from the ground and grabbing my foot and yanking, saying, "You're still here, Bubba." So it was kind of a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
So shock is not an emotion. What emotion did you feel?
There was some relief. There was also some rest that, okay, now I really don't have to think too hard about my life for the next 5 weeks. I know what I'm doing. And so I know I have a big day, again, another big meeting with the panel coming in 5 weeks. But man, 5 weeks to pray, 5 weeks to play music and shout praises to the Lord, 5 weeks to love on my family, send text messages to this awesome punk here and my wife, and just try to fight against my cancer.
Did it change how you went up to the jetway to pick her up?
Yeah, I was just excited to tell her the good news. I think Sarah already shared some of it with you, and I just kind of filled in some of the blanks there, and just to hang with my daughter. I mean, it's a treasure. It really is a new kind of treasure, because I really have, and you guys know this. I've all shared this with you. I really have been tethered to the heavenlies, feeling like that's soon to be my eternal home. So I feel like there's a little bit of patriation going on.
That's a great word.
So, Bob, was your desire to depart, or your desire to remain?
I think
No, which one was greater?
I don't think I could answer that. I think that it's a moment my moment thing. There's times when I've connected really with Jesus here in the last few months, deeper than I ever have, and I've tasted joy to a level that I've never tasted before. And I would say in those moments, man, I am so ready. I'm so ready. But then there's such a huge part. My prayer to God, as you know, has been for that I would like at least 5 years. And I mean, we had this chat on the way home, and my wonderful daughter said, "Well, I really want you at least through high school, but during college, It's true. Admit it. Look at the camera and tell people what you told Dad on the way home."
You are the one who said that.
What did you say? You said at least.
That's a good question.
To have you around at least through high school.
Yeah.
And then what?
I didn't say anything. You're the one that said after, like during college, you can just go.
You
said that.
Okay.
Cadence, do you mind telling the last episode like downloaded like 550 times, and on YouTube it was a couple thousand views, and on your dad's Facebook it was tens of thousands. So can you tell everybody that's listening to this a little bit about yourself?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I'm Cadence. I'm 13. I'm in 7th grade. I live in Tennessee. I love my parents, and I do martial arts.
That's great.
Any other questions?
Good at martial arts.
All right, guys. Let's
it all.
no. Let's interview Cadence. Everybody. Y'all know her. Everybody. Let's continue to let our audience get to know Cadence more.
Cadence, what's one of your more enjoyable like memories with your dad? So like whether a trip or an opportunity to serve or something like that. What do you got?
To Hong Kong, China with my dad in December, and we were both really sick, but we had fun.
She actually went to the orphanage where we adopted her, and took her out of there at age 14 months. And there was still 3 workers there that remembered her. And we got a photo of her and those 3 workers. I'll send it to you guys.
Yes.
It's just it's so precious because of those memories. And then I asked her when we got home, because she came up to me about a week after the trip, after we both recovered from our illness. And she goes, "Dad, I really, really loved Hong Kong." And I'm like, "Yeah. What did you like?" And she goes, "There are 7-Elevens open all the time, and they're all over. I can get snacks." So that's
Very
what we trekked around the world to do.
So Cadence, let me ask you a question, Cadence. I've been to your church a number of times, and I love your church. During the last during this difficulty with your father, what has your church meant to you?
I like my church friends like a lot, and I like helping out there.
Yeah, I walked in there and you were fixing to teach them the last time I was there. Do you feel the support for you and your mother at the church? I mean, have people kind of embraced you a little bit more and tried to show love to you?
Yeah, a lot more, especially Mom.
That's awesome.
You have a question, Murph?
Well, I think I asked her how long she was going to be there. That's as deep as I went.
Let's get some other. Tell us a little bit about school, Cadence.
I have an art class I'm doing, and I'm learning American Sign Language.
Show them some. Do some. Come
Um,
on, look at. You can watch me.
Maybe on a different level, is there anything that you'd love to do, or is there any special things you'd like to do? Even like these 3 days or the next couple months, is there anything special you'd like to do?
with my dad.
Yeah.
I just like to hang out with him.
Yeah.
When you hang out with him, what's the funnest stuff you guys do?
Ooh. It depends if we're going out or not. Like, if we're driving or if we're heading out someplace or just at home.
Do you have a favorite restaurant that Dad needs to take you to these next 2 days?
I like steak.
Yes.
How else would you like your dad to spoil you over the next 2 days?
Yes.
Yes, tell us. We'll hold him accountable.
Chocolate.
Candy.
Money.
That's so great.
All right, Bob, we're going
Trying to keep above ground, girl. All our chocolate candy money is going into that.
You also have to give me money for the way back.
Okay, I'll help you out.
Okay.
Spending money for the way back.
Yeah. I need to buy snacks so I can live on the airplane, you know?
Hey, dude, we didn't ask you. Was that the first time you'd gone that far in an airplane by yourself?
Yeah, that's the first time I flew alone.
Oh,
Was
was it scary, or did you do okay?
I think I did okay. It was kind of awkward though, since, I didn't know like anybody and they just had to like follow me around.
Was there somebody that had to take you from each place, like, or were you
Yeah.
all by yourself? Okay, yeah,
No, there is a flight attendant always following after me.
right.
unaccompanied minor. I was going to ask you if it was worth it.
To see Dad, yeah. It was kind of weird though, because they kept calling me the unaccompanied minor. They're just like, the UM is here. I was like, oh, it's not like I have a name, right?
UM.
Yeah.
It's a great nickname, y'all.
Betrayal.
Come here.
I asked
The
Mom.
episode with special guest star.
This obviously is the best news we could have gotten, and we've kind of taken the approach psychologically with the podcast is we're going to plan for the worst and hope for the best. And so as I thought about it today, I thought we probably still want to move forward with that same mentality because, this is one test and we would love to see 5 weeks do even better. But we don't know. And so, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, that's what I thought is we keep plowing just like we have been.
Well,
Absolutely.
I just think it's cracked open a place for us to actually probe into some of these questions and probe into some of the thought processes with life and death. And I mean, it's like my heart's open to it. I mean, I'm all for it.
So the ultimate test or evaluation will be in 7 weeks. So the protocol right now is 5 weeks of pretty much the exact same thing I did for the last 5 weeks. Then they're going to give me 2 weeks rest. And they'll probably do some immunotherapy, but no chemo during that 2 weeks. And then at the end of that 2 weeks, they will do another PET scan at the exact same place, the same facility, same guy that actually administered the PET scan to me when I first arrived here. And then they will compare the initial PET scan with that 12-week later PET scan. It'll be a 3-month period of time between them. And then that'll be the ultimate evaluation.
So maybe we close out tonight by just praising the Lord. Everyone wants to go around and everyone wants to go around and say, I think I'm going to start by the verse that came to me. Romans 11 says, "For of him and through him and to him are all things, to whom be glory forever and ever." And so the cancer came across his desk and he said, okay. And then this test came across his desk and the last weeks of treatment. And this is the Lord is watching and engaged in this process. And the fact that light was given today, I'm just rejoicing that a good God allowed us, we think at least more days, maybe more months, and hopefully more years on the whole journey. So I'm just praising a sovereign God for his healing hand.
Yeah, I'm Psalm 121. Where's our help come from? And it really comes from the Lord. And I'm with you, Jay, on rejoicing in the more days. And this has been I feel like the Lord's actually used this in a real healing sense. And so I'm just so thankful for this.
Hey, I'm also in Psalms. In my distress, I cried to the Lord, and He heard me. I don't remember where that is, though. Just a beautiful thing. I mean, I think there was there was a lot of I think the reason that this just felt kind of weird to all of us is because we were crying to the Lord, but just really expecting the worst. And so to see something that's good news has been rocking, and just another place to praise God for actually hearing and granting us a little reprieve here. It's beautiful. Granting you a little reprieve here.
I'm extraordinarily grateful to the Lord. Psalm 62, verse 5 says, "Truly my soul waiteth upon him. From him alone comes my expectations." I don't have high regard for doctors, period. But I am thankful that that our expectation is in him. And I'm just thankful that, we're all going to keep doing the work, to do the best we can for what Bob's got in his future.
Yeah, I'm super thankful to the Lord, super thankful to you guys, super thankful for just the journey thus far. I would say the verse that just keeps circling around my mind, and it's just provided a ton of comfort, is when we see the full humanity of Jesus when he says to his Father, "If it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done." And it's really a comforting thought to know that God has a will for each one of us. And really all we have to do is lean into that and unite with it. And even if it feels wrong or feels painful in the moment, I mean, look at what obeying the Father's will, yielding to the Father's will achieved, what it yielded, so much good. And so the Father's will for all of us yields good, and it yields joy. And so I've been resting in that. And so it looks like, with this kind of news today, it looks like God's will is not to necessarily take me in the very near term.
Awesome. Well, we want to say thanks to you, Cadence, for joining us. It's a super delight to have you on the podcast today. You will be the star of this episode, I am sure, as more people will chime in. And Will, we want to say thanks to you. You're joining us from overseas. You want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing and maybe a blessing you've already received on your trip so far?
Yeah, I was just I'm co-leading a trip to Turkey and Greece, the footsteps of Paul. And it's just, I've never been to Turkey. It's just absolutely beautiful. But we were in Laodicea yesterday, and there's a church building from 300 AD, and one of the creeds, the Laodicean Creed, was there, and you're just like, I think sometimes we think of Christianity from an American lens, and just to see, the longevity and the worldwide impact that Jesus Christ has had on this world, was quite moving to me yesterday.
Amen.
Yeah, I was wishing that we'd got ahead of ourselves and got a bobblehead Bob, and I could have put him at every location and taken a picture. That we'll do that another time.
Cadence, do you think we should make a bobblehead Bob?
Yeah, we can sell them at the Wilds. And see if campus will buy them.
That was great.
Great news today. Thanks for everybody hanging in here tonight.
Thank you for joining us today on the Dead Man Talking podcast. We hope this conversation impacted you. And if you know somebody else who could use it and be blessed by it, feel free to share it. Let's remember, we never know how many conversations we have left. So let's be grateful for every single one and make everyone count. God bless, and we look forward to our next talk together.